Mm.
Welcome to La Alma Dorada, a space where we honor the resilience, leadership, and vision of women, redefining the world. Here we celebrate breakthroughs, barriers, in creating lasting change. Today we have the extraordinary guest, a woman who has dedicated her life to education, empowerment, sustainable development, and her work has impacted communities across India, Nepal, Bhutan, Papua, New Guinea, and beyond. She's a consultant, an academic, and development expert who has collaborated with organizations such as the UN Women, and SCAPE. Her vision transcends borders, leaving a lasting impact on public policy, financial inclusion, and education for leadership. With over 200 publications and multiple books, she has been a leading voice in creating opportunities for women and vulnerable communities. Today, we will dive into her story, the challenges she has to face, and the impact she has to make globally. Let's welcome the one and only Dr. Rajeshwari Malik. Welcome to La Alma Dorada.
Thank you, Karola. Thank you. And it is indeed my pleasure to be part of it. I would like to reinstate that I am an ordinary woman with extraordinary dreams. So, talking about women and leadership, I aspire for transforming the world to such an extent that women don't have to stop dreaming and they can chase their dreams. So that is what I keep doing. So I am a professor. I am a development professional who work towards bringing that small change in people's life. Thank you so much, and happy to be part of La Alma Dorada.
Thank you very much. Number one, I'm going to say I'm very excited to have you here. And it's because it inspired me to actually go back to school and learn more and know that education is part of who we are if we want to really create a change, because when we educate ourselves, we know what's going on in the world. So for me, it's an honor to have you, Dr. Malik, and you are an extraordinary woman on the eyes of La Alma Dorada.
Thank you, Karola. Thank you. Yes, and I personally feel we should be students throughout our life. We have to keep learning. That desire to learn new things should not die down. And I'm a lifelong learner. I completed my dual masters after completing my PhD like 13 years back, and I completed my latest dual masters in 2022, and that to an alien country, leaving everything behind. And it was wonderful experience to be a student, full-time student. So yes, learning should never stop.
Yeah, we learn something new every day. Dr. Malik, before we dive into your impressive career, we want to know more about who the woman behind all those titles, who is Rajeshwari Malik beyond her professional achievement.
Yes, beyond my professional titles, designations, degrees, and all those things, I'm a simple woman with very simple aspirations. I am a daughter of a defense force personnel who had raised a very strong girl in a very uh, disciplined environment. So as a young girl, I got the opportunity and privilege to travel throughout India, from remotest part in northeast to the to down south to the metropolitan like New Delhi. I had stayed and traveled throughout India, and that had given me the highest degree of adaptability possible. So, external environment actually ignites more power in me rather than putting me down. So, I consider that as one of the biggest privilege. Apart from that, I'm a woman with dreams. I even at this ripe age of 50, I do not think I've yet achieved anything in terms of what I really want to, because I really want to travel around a lot more than what I have already done. I want to write more books. And I'm a mother of two young girls, my twins, and I want to make this world a better place for them. And that is my biggest motivation. So I want to raise them in a world where they do not have to worry about what their dreams are. Rather, they have to, they can dream about anything and they can just achieve that. That's the highest aspiration.
Your life has been dedicated to equality and sustainable development. Was there a defining moment that you ignite this passion in you?
Oh, I think I have always been very outspoken, very extrovert, and I was the most comfortable on stage all the time. So I always had that I would say a strong personality among the groups. Wherever I somebody has to take up the leadership role, I would always be at the forefront of things. But at the same time, I had always been a minority in the groups. So I used to be either only female or only girl in a group that was going for an excursion or for any activity. I would be among the minority. So I always, as a growing up girl, I've always found myself questioning why are there so less women aspiring to do all this that I want to do. For example, as a young girl, when I was part of the science exhibition, I was the only female among 12 men, 12 boys at that time. And similarly, when I did in 2004, when I did the lead auditor for ISO training, I went there, and out of 25, I was the only female for that residential 1 week course, and there were 24 male. And I was wondering what is wrong? Why are there no women? And then that kind of curiosity uh, intrigued me to go deeper into it. And then I found that women do not get equal playing field, and therefore they are happy to be part of the projects which do not require them to actually come out of those shells. So they are not ready to actually shoulder bigger responsibilities which require them to stay away from home for a long time. That was one thing. And otherwise, also, the organization's not very open to it. So that is where I got interested in gender equality and gender aspects of things. And then that led to understanding of sustainability and why things are not the way that the without the conditioning of the society should have been. So those small anecdotes during my growing up years, those small uh, situations that I witnessed where women should have been in equal representation but were not there. And similarly, there were vice versa situation where men should have been in equal representation but were not there. So that kind of got me intrigued into this area.
It's very interesting because in this side of the world, they make us think that in that side of the world, women don't have any opportunities. That actually men are the one who have all the opportunities, and women have to be submissive, and they just And when I wrote your biography, I was like, wow. So it's like it's not real. Like we have to dig in more to find out that yes, there are women around the world who have highly educated and they are creating changes, as much or more than what men are doing. So I just wanted to add that part there. And what will be your thoughts on that I just shared with you? Because I know that in Honduras, when they talk about India, we as women, we don't think as women being professionals. And I know that most of the women in India are professionals, and they have all this master's degree and they doing great things for the country. Do you want to add your thoughts on that?
Uh, Karola, India is such a huge, huge country that uh, even though we have made so much of progress, there's so less when it's compared to other parts of the world. We have the highest number of commercial pilots or women pilots in the world. And if you look at the world average, I think we are more than double of it. I did a research paper on position of women or status of women in India and the GDP and GDI, this Human Development Index and Gender Development Index. I did that study. That was way back in 2013, 2014. So during that research also, I found out that yes, we are making a whole lot of progress. We are making great progress when it comes to gender development, when it comes to gender equality. But having said that, when you look at the population, when you look at the representation of women in higher positions, when you look at the voice of women, that is still not that high. And that is what you pointed out, because globally, when you look at women, the whole thing is about putting that right voice, which comes with the position, which comes with the practice, so which comes with that higher level positions. And these women are not very vocal about their leadership positions. They're not very vocal about, they don't do the right kind of personal branding, and that is what is missing. So even with loads of degrees and achievements and everything, you would rarely find a woman who would brag about it. Forget about bragging, who would like in a room full of men who are not even equally qualified, she would be submissive and not very happy with presenting herself as some kind of an achiever. That need to be changed. That is what we need to, behavioral changes, acceptance of women as winners, acceptance of women as leaders, that need to change. And that is what is missing. And that is what had, I would say, political representation is very poor. uh, when I say very poor, it doesn't mean it is poor than most part of it, but when I put it proportionately, it is not that good. And the way media present women, that is not very good. The way media present financial knowledge of women, that is very bad. And overall, that image which is being created because of the feminism word taken in a very negative connotation, that has played a very key role in actually presenting a picture of women not being so empowered. But frankly speaking, at the groundwork, I won't say that completely things have changed completely, but yes, progress is being made. And it is a very solid progress. It is wonderful. The way girls and education wise, or opening up of new opportunity like defense forces, now we have started taking women in equal amount of defense forces, or we have like the scientists, we have equal number of scientists. So progress is being made, but I would say there's still a lot to be done. But no, the image that you have about India, that is not the correct one.
Yes, yes, yes. I know, and it's good to know so other women can get informed as well. You have worked in various countries and cultural contexts. How have these experiences shaped your perspective on women empowerment and social justice?
Yes. See, one thing which I always keep repeating is women globally have similar kind of problems. So whether it is a developed country or a developing country or third world country or whatever economic status of the country is, it is the similar situation that we face. Women cannot be blamed for being motherly. We have that naturally inside us. And the organizations, what we have around the globe, they are more male oriented. So the rules, regulations, policies, procedures, systems, everything had been developed according to the men in the society and not according to the women in the society. As a result, when women joined the workforce, they were expected to adjust to the men's world. So be a man used to be the norm. And whether it is America, whether it is Europe, whether it is Netherlands, where I interviewed so many women working for ages in different corporate areas, they have all faced similar situation. They all face the sticky floor. They all face the leaking pipelines. They all face the similar kind of health hazards. A simple thing like the AC temperature, which is a different requirement for a woman body than a man body. So all these things, they are considered very demanding when it comes to raising this kind of an awareness. So instead of fixing up the organization culture, instead of changing the organizations to make it more welcoming for the women in the workforce, we have done patchworks. Like we gave a little flexibility to women with children, or we gave a little maternity leave to women. But they don't understand that a woman who has given birth to a child also need a support system. So it was demanded that there should be a paternity leave also, which was again like an afterthought, and a week of paternity leave, as if the child is only a mother's responsibility who's still recovering from that big uh, event in her life. So look at this holistic picture. We are all struggling. We are all struggling with the same five M's: marriage, money, and we have menopause, and every possible thing, including men as the one of them. So when you look at so this notion that a woman in India is facing different problems than a woman in US or a woman in Honduras or a woman in Kenya is wrong. We have so many common problems. We have so much of common issues as a part of the society, which we need to address together. And we need to make mends in the organization culture and organization policies instead of asking women to fit into systems. That is what is required. So we need to work toward gender neutralization, and gender neutralization and womentoring is the need of our, is what I have learned through all these global experiences.
Wow. As you was talking about women fitting into their system, it came to my mind, and I put in my notes. It's amazing how men coming through this world through us. Then when we have to go to a world of business or to their world, we become
Mm.
neglected. I think it's a very interesting game. I will call it that way. In your experience, what is the biggest barrier women face today in accessing financial education and entrepreneurship?
We are not being raised in a way to be financially independent. We are raised in a very protected environment. We are raised uh, in the name of love. We are not given financial freedom to most of the women. And I know so many educated, well educated women who had been earning their money, had not been taking care of that money. We have to understand that women did not become financially independent for ages. So there's a conditioning which need to be fought. And we have to start things from scratch. We have to start teaching young girls financial independence, how to handle money. And this is no rocket science. Every woman can learn it. But the biggest thing that is required is inclusion at a very young age. And this comes with another big problem of missing women in STEM education: science, technology, maths. It the root lies in this particular problem of missing women. So by seventh, eighth standard, when the girls are in their seventh grade, eighth grade, they start losing interest in science and maths. We need to fix that. We need to look into it, why it happens, and if it is happening, how it can be rectified. So if a girl is leaking out from there onwards, from ninth, 10th onwards, and we have no uh, equal amount of representation when it comes to science, technology, and maths, how do we expect to have financial knowledge? So, one thing, school education has to include financial education as part of the curriculum, which is now being done by so many organizations globally. There are so many games which include financial education. We need to start making sure that girls, we need to push the girls. They won't do it on their own. Nobody would do that. Men don't learn financial independence or financial education because they enjoy it or they have to do it, because it falls on their shoulder to take care of the money. So they learn, they have learned it, and they got this from for ages together. And if women start doing that, we would also start learning it. So it has to start as a multiple level program where every penny that a woman earn, she has to be accountable for where it is going and how it is going. From there onwards, to young girls who should understand why money is important and where it would come from and where it would go. So financial education from school onwards to the current working women handling their own taxation and everything, all that need to be taught to them.
Yes, I remember in 2020, this lady, Dr. Kim Brown, she invited me to her podcast. She was based in the United States, and it was about women in business and financial. And she have other two guests in the panel. And when she asked me about financial education in Honduras, I went with crickets in my head. I'm like, they don't really teach us that over here. It's not that many women who understand the importance of their financial education. And when after that podcast, in a moment I feel like, oh, these women are so knowledgeable, and then I'm here knowing nothing. But that opened my eyes to the importance and why we should know about finance. Thank you for that profound
I, I
impact.
I would like to add just one incidence here, which actually is very important and which tells a lot about how society perceives and look at women when it comes to money and finance. We have this ex-chief minister in India, a woman, and she gave some statement on budget. She is an ex-chief minister. She has handled the state for around 10 years. She had two terms as a chief minister. And then when she gave a statement in the press about the current budget which was presented in the state, there were like three or four politicians who actually mocked her, and they said she doesn't even know how to run her kitchen properly, and she's the one telling us the budget is not so good. So can you imagine a chief minister, when she is commenting on budget, this is how it is perceived in the media and presented in the media. Her statement on the budget has been criticized. So it's not something that is going to be welcomed by anybody, and therefore you see so less efforts. Nobody want money is power. Once you know how to handle it, you become powerful, and nobody want to share that power with women. So it is for us to understand that yes, it is important and you should know how to handle your own money.
I love that. I think we have to start using that as a slogan, Dr. Rajeshwari. Money is power,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
you have to know how to handle it to become powerful. I love it. Thank you so much. We know that microfinances and financial inclusion can transform lives. Could you share a story that illustrates the real impact of those tools and women or communities?
I would like to give you two examples here. One is from India. This was for a PhD, which I guided as and my PhD scholar, the student, and my myself. We both of us went to a slum area where migrant population was staying, and then there was a project which was carried out because there was some organization which was running self-help groups, and they were empowering these women, and they were teaching these women about financial independence, and the self-help groups were really functioning well, and we wanted to study the effectivity of self-help groups and microfinance. So I went there with my student, and we interviewed these women. And the surprising thing that came out is that when these women became, and this interesting thing was, this was a mixed gender self-help group. It was not just women, it was men also who were part of it, which is very rare, but it was happening there. So when I interviewed these women, I was surprised to see that the women who had voice, women who became leaders in the self-help group, and women who were treasurers and managing the self-help group's finances, they faced a lot of domestic violence at home, and much more domestic violence in comparison to other women in the group. And when I was shocked. I thought these are empowered women. They have understood how to handle money. They have understood that they have a voice which they can use as a tool to actually uh, run the group and get business done. And what was surprising is that when these women were taking decisions, and when these women actually were doing so well in the self-help group, they were facing domestic violence because the men in the family were feeling that they are becoming overpowering, and they are becoming more powerful than I am, and my authority is being questioned. And when two of them actually filed a police complaint, all this nonsense stopped. And when I asked this girl, how did they got the courage to actually file a complaint against their husband, which is the biggest thing for a woman in that part of the strata. And then she said, I know how to handle my money. I have a voice. Why should I tolerate? So you can understand a small change it can bring. And then the woman gave me very good reason why she did it, because she had a daughter, and she said, my daughter is seeing what I'm going through. I don't want my daughter to understand that this is normal, and I have to change things. So whatever small changes that we see around us, it's actually adding up incrementally to change the whole world. This is one example which I'm giving from India, which I witnessed myself firsthand. Second example is from the project that I did in Papua New Guinea with the Women's Micro Bank, which is one of the leading bank there. And this leading bank has been promoting uh, micro entrepreneurship. So Papua New Guinea is a very, I would say, geographically a very difficult terrain. It has mountains, it has valleys, and it has a lot of tribes and a lot of disturbance going on. And it is very difficult to actually put everyone together, and uh, you have rampant crimes and other issues also in the society. But whoever gets a little chance with the women's micro bank, those women are actually changing the whole village. They are not just changing their family's life, they are changing the whole village. This bank is teaching them financial education. This bank is giving them loans to start their own shops or small enterprises. And this bank is giving them even trainings and education. Those of the women who are not able to complete the education, they are invited to complete the education. And then this bank is also giving them the opportunity to understand technology and learn technology. I have the privilege to be part of this digitalization of microfinance and women empowerment project. And it had been an eye-opening thing for me, that how technology can actually bridge the divides, and how there is so much of gap even in technology adoption, because ultimately it all boils down to the learning facilities we have. So technology in the hand of women can actually bring so much of change. So women microfinance is if it reaches the right kind of people, it can change the whole society for women.
Wow, really impressive. You have the you have developed educational programs to empower women that urge change. Do we need to make in education systems to ensure a more inclusive and equivalent future?
Yes, I had been developing course curriculum for, I have been in the panel of course curriculum development for IGNU, which is Indira Gandhi National Open University, which is world's largest university where students are all online, and it's a distance education university in India with the highest amount of enrollment globally. So I have developed a course for different courses, and I have developed a course. I've conducted a workshop and also developed a course for women in leadership. So what is missing is that women do not aspire to be leaders. As young girls, we aspire to become a doctor, we aspire to become this and that, but we don't aspire to become leaders. We have very few role models in front of us. So that is what we I have developed for one of the university, which is Asia's biggest women university, located in northern part of India. And there we have, it's a very different kind of a university where we have education, not just for higher education or the tertiary education, but we have the education being monitored for girls from nursery, UKG onwards till the PhD. So everything is being offered by the university. And this is the Asia's biggest women university run by government. So there are certain private universities which are dedicated to women, but this is run by government, and it is headed by my professor during my MBA days. And I wonderful, wonderful staff you have, people who want to actually bring changes. And they have adopted around 200 villages around the university where they have started this course is being delivered, where we girl students from the rural parts of India, they're invited to be part of this 6 months course where they get to learn leadership. So leadership gap cannot be bridged without actually teaching the girls to become leader. So that is what the small university, this big university is adopted, and that's my small contribution to it.
That's so beautiful. I believe we all have a leader in us and we all have it sleeping. So my slogan is waking up the leader that is sleeping inside.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
With over 200 publications, wow, I will say that's really impressive, and several books, is there a key idea in your work that you wish the world will love to embrace and apply in their daily life?
Uh, I would very humbly not take the credit for the 200 publications for one very valid reason, because that was part of my academic profile. As a professor, publications has to come. And another thing, I could manage so many because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed teaching, I enjoyed reading and writing and research. So I was enjoying it. So the outputs are all a blessing. The key takeaway that I would say is only one thing. Whenever I used to teach my girls, my students, I used to tell them only one thing. In order to bring any kind of a change in the society, you'll have to break certain norms. So don't take breaking norms as a negative thing. You would be scolded for it. You would have to fight a lot of social taboos and so many more things. But it takes courage to come out of that line of thought and that progress which is going on. You have to break free from it, and then only you would be able to change something and bring something new. And that is the first thing that education should give you. You cannot be just a part of the herd. You have to break free. So if you do that, if you take, you call it innovation, you call it anything, but everything doesn't have to be uh, as per the rule book, as per the guidance, as per the social norms. No, break free. And I used to get scolded for that from my management because it used to be like, you are teaching the students to not follow the rules. I said, yes, that is what I'm teaching, and that is what as a teacher I have to do. So my president wasn't very happy about it, but I still continued to do that. So that had been one of the biggest teaching that uh, I used to pass on to my students. Another second thing that which I always taught them was, in life you are going to face difficult times. It is never going to be a smooth ride. So never ever let success go to your head and failure go to your heart. So if you it's just one step. You were successful in this step, wear the crown, be happy, take a pose, take a selfie, and move on. Forget about being, don't let that crown stay on your head for too long. And at the same time, if you are unsuccessful in something, don't let that go to your heart and just keep sulking about it, keep feeling bad about it. Keep it away, learn the lesson, and move to the next step. These are the biggest things which matter in life. And that is what we call adaptability, we call it agility, we call it by any name. But the basic rule is keep going.
I love that. Wear a crown, take a selfie, and move on. I will remind that all the time. Oh my goodness. The world is constantly changing. In the fight for gender equality, what is your vision for the future of women and empowerment, the global scale, you know?
See, the world is definitely constantly changing. Today we talk about AI, today we talk about NLP and everything. But the challenge remains the same. Technology is in hand of the people who have the same biases. Technology is being taught and being developed by the people with the same conditioning. And as a result, you know how difficult it is to even make AI as gender neutral. So that is the biggest challenge we face today. So unless and until we rectify, we start consciously putting in efforts in that direction. So even new innovations and new technologies is going to continue with the same social issues that we have been facing for ages. So that's one big challenge. And there are so many organizations. I know United Nations University as Macau is doing a project on how to ensure gender equality in AI. Uh, I am aware of the project that they are doing, and they are collecting data from various sources and trying to feed the machines and make ensure that some of the biases could be rectified. But I don't think it is possible unless and until we have more women in the innovation team, which again boils down to missing women in STEM, which again boils down to missing women in girls losing interest in technology and sciences during their early school days, which again boils down to who has the power to take decisions, who own the resources. Unless and until we do something about that, unless and until we are in the position to dictate the terms, or we are in the leadership position, political power, financial power, we won't be able to bring much changes in the next coming years as well, with whatever technology there would.
Yeah, technology and AI, no? While you was talking, I thought about we should start creating our own woman technology and woman AI for the future.
Be Yes, yes.
Yes,
You would be
definitely.
surprised to know, Karola, in the virtual world where we already have the VR and Meta world that was created, there had been eve teasing and rape charges on virtual women. Can you believe we have all those social issues, whatever we are facing in the society right now, are all being transposed even to the virtual world?
And something that I want to highlight is what you mentioned about the people who are in power and the people who are in charge of the technology nowadays. When we look around the world, how devastating things are and how people are completely disconnected because technology is wonderful. I'm in Honduras, you're in India. This is amazing. But instead of making us more unified, in a way, are disconnecting people from each other and connecting it more to the machine. So for me, that's a big red light. And I always ask myself, like, who put these people in power? I question that all the time. And why should I accept them to be there and not me be there instead, which I want to create something positive for the world. So I think as women, it's time for us to start creating our own council and, to be able to, in the future, because it's baby steps, I know, to be able to rule and control things in the right way. We have that mother instinct after all.
Yes, yes, that should be put to really good use. We have certain organizations like women in technology groups globally, but again, the voice has to be there. They have to be consciously putting in efforts to ensure that things are heard, statements are heard, and then we have the say in. So I remember this quote from I don't remember the lady's name, but she was somebody in US earlier when political empowerment for women was still a very, I would say, of dreamy kind of an idea. So she said that in case they do not have a seat for you on the table, then bring your own chair. So I think we need to be that strong that we go and say, yes, you will have to hear us. You will have to listen to what we have to say.
Yes, it's time for us to use our superpower.
Yes.
Many believe that change is responsibility of governments and institutions, but how can you individual contribute to build a more equitable world in your thoughts?
See, change is definitely a responsibility of government. I have no doubt about it. But then how many women are there in the government? The problem is there. So I have no issues with women becoming politician. They should become politician. We have to wherever there is people, there should be women. There should be politicians. So a simple thing like safety of women. In case we had women police officers, in case we had women in positions of power, like the uh, politicians and everybody, is it possible that there would be the world would be unsafe for women or girls? It is not, because we are minority there. We are considered and given instructions like stay at home, don't go out at night, and all those things. That is because we had been not heard. We had no voice in the decision making. But that's changing a lot with changing times. At as far as not being in politics and not the government but individual and family, I think we should start with ourselves. As I said, it is very easy to go with the flow. It is very easy to go with the social norms and follow whatever the society considered as the norm and okay and fine. And it is very difficult to listen to your inner voice and follow that. So, as an individual, I think we should start doing that more often instead of asking for appreciation and approval from anybody else. Let's just be happy with the way we are.
Absolutely, and also be the change that you want to see in the world, as the songs say.
Exactly.
Uh, Dr. Malik, we know that knowledge and education are key to transform life. If you could write a book, which I call manuals for future generation, what will it be about and what message will you share with them?
I think I would just write that one quote which I always had in front of me during my university days. Be you, the world will change. I think that's the message I would like to continue giving. Be you. When you're truthful to yourself, when you feel something is not right and you take steps to actually mend that, when you chase your dreams and be truthful to your dreams, when you um, fulfill all your aspirations to whatever best capacity you have, I think the whole world around you start to change. So be you, the world will change.
Absolutely be you. I love it. Looking ahead, what is one dream you wish to accomplish in your mission of globally impact?
Oh, I really, really dream of every woman, every girl being tech savvy. I want every girl to become tech savvy. When I say tech savvy, it would automatically mean they are educated, they get chance for education. It would automatically means they would be part of the technology and innovation and changes that are happening around them. At the same time, it would automatically means they are contributing towards making the world a better place. They should be tech savvy. They should be at the forefront of technology. And they should be the one who decides what is good in the technology and what is not so good in the technology. So we can do away with so many social flaws that are part of technology today, like bullying, like pornography, like excess social media, like data privacy. Because if we have morally correct people, we have motherly instinct people in the decision making position and not shrewd money makers, then automatically so many problems would get rectified.
Great. I do have a question that I has been in my head and the whole conversation because I just love your power to thrive and transform. Did your parents have anything to do with it? Because the way that I see things, and I'm talking about my perspective of life, for a person to be able to have that much confidence and just go for it, you need really good backup. So, did your family have to a little of impact in your success?
A lot- Yes, a lot of impact, a lot of impact. I don't remember ever being denied. I don't remember ever being questioned why this. So as a young girl, I told you, I used to be a minority in the groups, and I would travel to different cities along with a bunch of boys and go and play. I would go to a different city for a quiz. I would go to a different city for a debate competition, and I was never questioned. I was never asked why, or why you are a girl. I was never told that. So as a young girl, I it was way back, uh, once I finished my graduation, that I realized that there can be certain limitations of being a girl. Before that, and by growing up here, I never knew that there can be any different world for boys and girls. So yes, I I have to give a whole lot of credit to that kind of parenting. Even today, uh, whenever I have any problems or any doubts, I just sit and talk with my father, and he would say, "Okay, do it if you want to do it. Why not?" So that kind of confidence, and I think I got it as a gift from being born in the family. So I became the school captain, the youngest school captain when I was in eighth grade. I was standing there and gave a speech, and there was voting held, and I won, and I could beat people from students from 12th grade, 11th grade. I was just an 8th grader at that time, and I became a school captain. I was the youngest school captain in the history of that school. So, and beyond that, I still don't remember ever being at the background or in the crowd. I had always been at the forefront of whatever task I would take up. It would be wholeheartedly, it would be openly, and it would be 100%.
So beautiful. If you could send a message to all the young girls and women around the world who have dreams of a better future, what would you say to them?
Oh, just one thing: nurture your dreams. If you have dreams, don't push them under the carpet. Don't let anything and anybody kill your dreams. Nurture your dreams, work for it. First, think about what you can do to yourself or gift yourself, and be a little selfish. That's what we mothers and ladies and women around the world need to learn. We have to be a little selfish and we have to take care of ourselves and feel empowered in believe in your dreams. That's very, very important. If you don't believe, nobody else is going to believe. If you don't nurture, nobody else is going to support. So it has to it start with you.
Yes, believe in your dream. I love it. Thank you very much, Dr. Malik. It has been an honor to hear your story, your wisdom, and vision. Your work lights the way for those striving to change the world through education, equality, and sustainable development. Before we say goodbye, would you like to share with the audience where they can follow you or know more about your work?
Uh, I I'm available on LinkedIn. I'm Rajeshwari Malik on LinkedIn. And you can note down my email ID also. It's rajeshwari.malik01@gmail.com. You can connect with me. I would be happy to guide girls in fulfilling their dreams in whatever capacity I can.
Well, you hear it from the one and only Dr. Rajeshwari Malik, all the way from India to Honduras and the planet. Thank you so much. To all our listening, thank you for joining us today in this episode of La Alma Dorada. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast channel on YouTube. And remember that you are the light in the darkness and that your coach Karola, La Alma Dorada, love you with all her heart. Bye bye. Thank you, Dr.
Bye bye.
Malik.